Hello and welcome to Casting Roles, a persistent D&D campaign played by a bunch of theater nerds. Thank you for joining us. If you're really liking the show, please don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. And if you'd like to see more or interact, you can find us on social media. We're on Twitter at Casting Roles and on Facebook at Casting Roles ILM. And our one-stop shop for all of our information is our website, castrolls.com. We stream here on Twitch on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and our video uploads are on Friday on our YouTube channel each week. We are down a Marlowe this evening for the moment. Hopefully she'll be able to join us a bit later, but if not, we'll just continue on. But with no other announcements, we'll go ahead and start the show. So, ticket takers, after traveling to the subterranean town of the Rift, you made your way to the laboratory in which Saurus was created. There, you thought you were going to be facing off against Saurus's creator, the King, Ahriman, whatever name he's deciding to go by that day. But when you attacked him, it was revealed to be one of his or somebody else's underlings, a Rakshasa. After doing some battle, dealing with some rifts being opened to the veil, Shadowfell, you were able to take out the Rakshasa and in the process rescue Marlowe's, not mother, but kind of surrogate mother figure, Amalia Windsor. After some kind of conversations and dealing with seeing the Queen for the first time through a magical mirror as she had been watching the whole the whole fight and the battle, you then made your way back to the Rift with Saurus's very stealthy help of avoiding any of the dangers that you had left behind on your way there. So you made your way back in. Was there anything you all wanted to do that evening before you went to sleep, or do you want to go straight into the next morning?
Honestly, I don't even remember.
I like to sleep.
I don't think so.
Yeah, healing and sleeping was good.
All right. So you all made your way back to the Hoarder's Folly. Jury may or may not have gone that way as well. And then you awake the next morning. So as you awake, Saurus.
Yes.
Sleeping on the floor, or do you sleep on the bed?
Oh, we take a long rest.
I'll sleep in the bed.
Okay, so you wake up in the bed and...
Probably curled up on top of it,
yeah.
but...
There's no covers or anything or whatever, but you wake up and, kind of stretching your muscles from the fight the day before, and there's a moment when you're kind of stretching your arm up where you see that there's like this thin, ephemeral tether coming off of your arm. And you look down and you see another one kind of rising off of your chest where those two wounds were. And you can feel them slowly kind of losing their hold on you.
Mm.
But there's a moment where you, in the back of your head, you realize that you could choose not to let them go.
Ooh.
I'll let the chest one go, but keep the arm one.
Okay. So you focus on it, and as you're focusing, you realize, it looks ephemeral, but you could touch it and grab it and hold it if you wanted to and pull it. And there's, this sense of, unraveling that you're getting from it, but you decide to leave it. And you see it kind of fades away. It goes away from your vision, but you can still feel it there. The one on your chest does vanish.
Mm.
So you have one tether. I know I said to mark two, but you've got one.
Okay. Because this could be good or bad, so 50-50 chance. It's maybe less powerful, but I also may be less hurt. So,
all right. Abel. Meanwhile, at the same time, you kind of awaken in your room, and you're gathering your things together. And as you are getting up out of bed, your foot kicks out, and you hear a ding, 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 ding across the floor.
I look down to investigate.
Okay. You see kind of rolling where you've kicked it, kind of back and forth loosely, a goblet. Looks maybe made of tin or some kind of cheapish metal, but it is embedded with 4 gems.
Before I start my day, can I ritual cast identify on it?
Yeah, sure. So you take 10 minutes and kind of set it there in the center, kind of draw your ritual circle around it, and activate your arcane runes. It's not magical.
It's not magic.
Nope, it's just a tin goblet with some gems or things encrusted on it.
Okay. I'll shove it in the new bag of holding.
Okay.
Oh,
Wow.
We found another one. That's right.
Yeah, you did find another bag of holding.
While the other one is
The backpack of holding.
and
Didn't I joke about it being a bag of holding, and then it was.
Yes.
That was so funny.
Yeah.
with that being said, I'll check my infusion bag of holding to make sure it's still tied up tight with the rope.
You do
And our
notice that the
little
ropes
flaming-
are a little loose, like something had been trying to, while you were sleeping, get out.
Yeah. So I'm gonna like tighten those back up a little bit.
Okay, so you tighten that back up. So now, are you taking
We'll
both bags?
decide.
You've got 2 bags of holding now.
Yeah, I'm
Oh
gonna
my God.
head downstairs and look for the others so we can decide what to do with this
All right.
little flaming skull friend we have.
All right, so then everybody kind of gets together, and you are making your way down into the Hoarder's Folly area. What would you all like to accomplish there as you're arriving in the morning, Saurus, Abel?
Breakfast
Well, I
is my
definitely think-
first.
Yeah, I definitely think pocket bacon is in order.
Okay, so
Yeah. You
You-
probably see Jury with the mimosa already
first
down
thing in the
there.
morning.
They know how to start the day.
Yes. So, coming down, the first thing you all notice is Jury sitting there. They're sipping on a delicious mimosa. Durrell's kind of having a conversation with them, and then when Durrell sees you all, is like kind of gets back to business. But then the last thing he kind of says to you, Jury, says, they still haven't found Ben. He apparently went missing sometime in the middle of the night.
Last night?
Yeah.
Hmm.
And you know, Ben is kind of like a street vagrant. He kind of is like a well-meaning, relatively homeless person.
Sure.
But everyone he has a smile on his face all the time and is wandering around. But apparently disappeared last night.
I'll ask the jury, who is this Ben person?
Well, you know, he kind of goes around, and he doesn't have a place he calls home, but he's always very kind.
He is.
Does he normally go missing like this?
I don't think so.
Not as long as I've been in the Rift, no.
He usually comes by, once a day to say hello to
Yeah.
everyone.
Normally pops in and grabs some of the leftover meal from the night before in the morning, and I haven't seen him yet.
Do we know who saw him?
Anyone
last?
else gone missing besides Ben?
Well, I think you probably have heard that it's been in the paper. It's even made the papers. But Banktown's experienced several missing cases in the last few months. But the Rift has been spared of most of that. But I hope this isn't a sign of things to come.
Well,
Certainly.
hopefully the watch can keep on top of things.
Yes. But he kind of takes all of your orders and goes back to let the kitchen know, and he'll bring out food. And so if you're getting food and drink here, it was more expensive now, but before. But now that Jury's with you all, breakfast is 5 copper, and any drinks or whatever is 5 copper. So you can get drinks and meal for a silver.
I'm not a big fan of drinking.
I will actually pay in 10 copper because I have some in my stash for some reason.
There you
And
go.
what better way to get rid of it than this?
5 copper. We'll mark it off.
Yeah, I'll pay.
All right. So you
So
all
I
have
s-
pocket bacons and breakfast foods and.
I assume Marlo is still with her mentor that we found.
Durrell, I saw the 2 of them kind of go out early this morning.
But they probably need some time just to themselves.
I would think they would have a lot to talk about.
So from
So
here,
come on up.
Yes.
Go ahead.
What do you want to do today?
I'd like to look around the town some. It looks interesting. The rift, as
Okay.
you call it.
It is a very interesting place. I think between Churi and I, we can find many things to interest a young otter.
Yes.
Sure.
Sounds
Maybe
like
we can ask around about Ben while we're out.
it's a good idea.
And
Josh, I'm assuming that I know of Ben since I lived in the Rift for a while.
Yeah, you're familiar with him, and he probably interacted a lot with the monastery for food and water and things like that.
I would like at some point to go to the monastery to visit my brothers.
sure. And I need to talk to Iris at some point, so we should go by and see her, update her. And
Might be
hopefully
better
not,
with Marlowe not here.
and if Abel is nice too. No
don't
fights
plan-
now.
I don't plan to start any more philosophical debates.
I think you need it every now and then. You know, not many people challenge Iris down here, but I think it's good for her. So I'm not offended by it. But I think
leadership should be
Huh?
held to. I think leadership should be held to that higher standard, though.
certainly. But in similar circumstances, our leader has to have the strongest ideals.
That is true as well.
Not all of us are so extreme. Jared shrugs. You know,
Should we start our day checking in with Iris? Let her know what happened in the mines, the caves.
that would be all right. All right.
All right.
We can, yeah.
All right, so you gather your kind of things together and you make your way outside of the Hoarder's Folly. And you're kind of turning to head up the winding path of bridges and ladders and such to get up to the 4th level where the foundry is and where Iris's quarters are. When you notice that there is a figure kind of standing at the edge of one of the overlooks looking out into the chasm and the waters rushing below, and you see the familiar wheeled contraption, the long black braided hair, the darker skin. Iris is sitting there kind of overlooking the rift at not very far from the Hoarder's Folly at this morning hour.
Is Phileas anywhere nearby?
You do not see Phileas with her, no.
Oh, speak of the devil. Lead on, Jordan.
I'll go upstairs.
Oh, good morning.
Morning. Sorry, don't mean to bother you.
Actually, no, it probably would be me to say I didn't want to bother you. Couldn't quite find myself to wheel into the Hoarder's Folly this morning, but I had thought to seek you all out.
Certainly. We should update you on what happened.
No, of course, yes. Your trip to through the mines.
Sure. Soros, would you like to tell her about that part?
I regale her with the story, including running into the gelatinous cube, the dynamite, the bulette that is still out, the basilisks, oh my,
Rats.
my brethren, who were just simply looking for food. And state of the lab, what we ran into there with the Rakshasa, thank you.
And once you start getting into that part, Jordan will like cut you off, politely, but still. And he kind of like leans into Iris and he goes, and he tells her about the Tidewater part of this.
Oh.
She,
I
Yep.
see you. You met Valeria then, did you?
that's her name, Valeria. She called herself Queen.
Yes. She's found herself to a high and mighty position these days, but no, the leader of the Tidewater Syndicate, Valeria Highwind.
Valeria, like a V, like Valerian.
Yeah, Valeria Highwind.
Not malaria.
No, not malaria.
Well, she is evil, so that would fit.
Maybe.
She is something.
Sorry, Valeria. What's
Highwind.
So she is the leader of the Tidewaters that threaten Kaimana's people.
Yeah, that sounds about right. She's not exactly... She hasn't been herself probably for 5 or 6 years. Something happened that set her from being just a smuggler to wanting to do some kind of world domination, as it seems.
Like you do.
Are there any rumors about what may have occurred that made her change her ambitions?
I might wager that it's perhaps more the doing of outside forces. Probably around the same time that the a priori was really making itself known, they reached out to, as best as our operatives have been able to, fester out in the dredges. That a priori reached out to the Tidewaters and kind of raised their station, as it were.
Sure. She also threatened Kaimana and his family.
Yes. That's. I would not say that she probably would not. I would trust her threat.
Do you have any advice on that? I mean, we don't want to walk into a trap.
Did you tell her about what Valeria wanted?
I'll look to Kaimana. This is your quest. Divulge as
It's
much
so
as you
cute. Just
want.
a little
Kaimana,
head.
would you like to tell her more about it? About
Yeah, I'll show the shiny stone.
Okay. She looks at it. That's interesting.
yeah. This was higher stakes than I was anticipating.
I can't.
And we tell her what it is.
Yeah, and when you I can't imagine what they would want. I mean, in Azalor, I mean, there's magical items there, but it's just a city. I don't know why it would be such a major reason for their journey. I know that this also popped up for you all with, I think you mentioned it before, with Feldspar. It's a very odd puzzle piece.
Dragons.
You think it has something to do with dragons?
Possibly.
It's one thing that is supposed to be there that's not easily found anywhere else.
It's,
There is a sleeping dragon.
Yes,
at the
Naginda supposedly lives in Azalor. That's odd.
If that is, well, there's a sleeping dragon that lives at the Violet Cloister
Yes.
who will murmur prophecy every once in a while.
If it's to be trusted, I suppose.
Yeah.
We call that sleep talking.
I don't. Well, if it's dragons that we are assuming is the end goal, would that be a place to start?
Perhaps. But it seems like there may be pressing concerns beyond sleeping dragons, but I don't know. The mystical, metaphysical elements of this conflict are not things that I'm very well versed in. I understand the people and the chess pieces being moved, but when we start talking about things like building castles in clouds or all of these other elements, those are beyond my purview.
Do you think she plans to strike out against the rogues?
Oh, yes. Part of the reason why the rogues decided to partner with us was muscle. So I imagine... Interesting, now that you've mentioned it. Supposedly the rogues have a sleeping dragon of their own.
So maybe
How many
dragons
sleeping
are.
dragons are there?
Well, there's 9.
Sleeping?
You should let sleeping dragons lie.
Well, you know, Abel, that there are 9 Empyrean dragons.
Ah, yes, there are 9
Yes.
Imperium dragons.
well done, Ronnie.
Yeah. They were the first creation of the gods, the 9 Empyreans, and they're 9 immortal dragons who are the progenitors of all of dragonkind. And as far as like power levels go, like the 9 Empyreans would be like the avatars of the gods in a lot of ways.
So, about her statements of making castles in the sky, that was the profane citadel, correct?
Well, that would make sense. Castles in the sky, the flying castles of the cloud giants, but the profane citadel was the only one that fell during the war.
Yeah, it's all a little.
As a Nuavian, you should be very familiar with the profane citadel.
Yes, but no one knows exactly where it fell.
No. The Nuavians were not able to bring it down, but the demons overran it, so...
Okay, so lots of puzzle pieces to put together.
There's almost too many, which is part of the reason why I enjoy the moving pieces of people. But
Sure.
because of that, I probably miss some of the bigger picture elements.
And you know, I don't know how Kaimana feels about this, but would it be possible maybe to move his family here for a while?
You're gonna need a big boat.
Well, I think we probably need to move them
We're
somewhere
gonna need a bigger
safer.
boat.
No,
What's wrong? Y'all don't hide well? You're like in the water all the time, right?
you're going to have to be specific as to what you call my family.
Like, how much of the island is considered your family?
Everyone.
Oh my god, we can't leave an island.
Do you intend to follow Valeria's threat?
I look at Kaimana.
Because she's asking you to do her dirty work, it seems.
Part of me thinks my family can hold their own. They're strong people.
Is it possible that Vox Populi could give them reinforcements, send forces to bolster their defense?
Or at least send word that they are under threat.
I will say that Vox Populi's reach is very much the continent of Alyria. The Vanishing Isles are far beyond my ability to touch. Your friends in Nuavia may be much closer.
I might as well look at Abel.
I look at him with just so much love in my heart. Is there, if I were to send a letter, is there someone who could deliver it?
I'm sure there's messenger services in the town.
That would take
And
quite
high
a
water.
while.
Not to Nuavia. My father is in the capital
Let me look
as
at
an envoy
Your
for
father's
Nuavia.
still in Hightower.
Oh, he's in Hightower, which
Yeah.
is not that far.
No, we can get a message in Hightower because with the aerodrome there are ships
Yeah.
going to visit different places.
Yeah.
That's going to be the fastest way. I'm sure there's a messenger service at the aerodrome or thereabouts where people can send word out on different ships to.
So I will let him know that the leader of the a priori has threatened the Vanishing Isles inhabitants, and they may need at least warning, if not assistance, from like the Nuavian Navy.
I can have that delivered quickly for you if you don't want to deliver it yourself.
I I would appreciate it. Yes.
Okay. And she kind of lifts a finger, and you see out of the shadows a person in a cloak comes that had been well hidden from you. And she kind of looks up to him, and he comes out. She whispers in his ear, and he nods, and he takes off running.
Should I write the letter so it's in my handwriting? I don't know.
Too late.
I think we can manage.
Okay.
Your father is still traveling with the princess, is he not?
I believe he is. Yes.
We have an inn. It will be okay.
Oh man. Just does not make me feel.
Juridan just
Yeah, I just look over at Jury and just nod. Just nod.
So, what brings you to hanging out outside of our inn first thing in the morning?
Odd that would be more difficult to talk about than business. I do feel bad about how our conversation went the day before. I may have given the wrong impression, and I feel like I've perhaps gotten the wrong impression of some of you. I heard that you were potentially traveling into the Boreal Quarter today.
Yes.
That is one of our goals. Yes.
I need to go there and meet up with a few of our operatives in the area. When you go, I would love to accompany you.
That would be interesting.
I'm sure they're all eager to accommodate you. I like look at Abel like say something.
I was resisting the urge to say something snarky, but
Jordan gives you the look like this is your chance.
She says,
we
"Well,
would be delighted to travel with you."
Well, I'm kind of here at the moment. They generally know to find me where they need me, so I can pretty much be wherever I need to be in the city. So I'll wait around here. Whenever you are ready to go, you can just come find me, and I'll show you the. Although I'm sure Source probably knows the Boreal Quarter entrance. Much faster than taking the other entrance from along Banktown.
Well, thank you so much, Iris.
Of course.
Bow a little.
We appreciate your time.
And I yours as well.
I want to ask her, do you know where your friend Phyllis is this morning?
Oh, if it's a regular day, then Phileas fell asleep, probably in some compounds or chemicals or some bolts or metallic object of some sort, and he will be waking up probably around this time and splashing some water in his face and getting back to work.
So in his shop, eh?
Yes.
I think I'll spend a little bit of time with him. Just want to discuss some ideas I had last night before I fell asleep.
Of course.
Wow, you never stop, do you, Abel?
The mind is a machine that must always be working.
Alright. So Abel wants to head off to Phileas's lab.
And that's just going to be my reasoning behind my level upgrade.
Oh, right, yeah. That makes sense.
Oh, I like that.
Alright. You guys have the morning or whatever, however long you want to kind of look around the rift.
Yeah.
Where would the place with the most shinies be?
Well, Kaimana also, I'll say, if we wanted to see the fortune teller.
Oh, Lady Miss Mira.
Fortune teller.
Well, we can wait till you can do it before if you want. You could roll.
I want to go with you guys to the fortune teller
Okay,
first.
go to fortune teller and then we'll do that.
Well, you also know that Lady Miss Mira does not usually
in the afternoon.
arise before 10 or so. So you've got an hour or so to kill before she's
Alright,
really
we'll
up.
stop. You
Okay.
meet us at the fortune telling place.
Okay.
Sounds like a plan. Let's
Yeah, is there somebody who makes glass beads or jewelry or anything like that? Just because...
So you know that there's one general store in the Rift, and it's a very large establishment, and it is run by a guy who is kicked out of the Merchants Guild, and just kind of came into the Rift and established this store, and it's basically the trash pit the gyres in the center of the Atlantic, where like all the garbage of the Earth seems to collect in this establishment. So you know that it's there, and it's the. Oh, I don't have my rift notes. Hold on a second. That's not it. No, that's Hightower. That's Boreal Quarter.
I could make Kaimana wink. Watch.
Oh my goodness. If you ever cast the charm person spell, that's what he does.
He'll lean into the camera. He'll do this.
Oh, where is it?
Sully!
Oh,
She's being very calm.
okay. The Collector's Envy is the general store, and there are other like market type stalls and things around the rift, but the Collector's Envy is literally like all the stolen goods probably find their way there. If you need to offload some stolen goods, it's a good place to do it. It's kind of the black market bazaar of the rift.
Actually, yes, I have something I want to unload there.
I know Marlo does too, but she can handle
Yeah.
it. It's whatever. But okay, so you guys make your way to the Collector's Folly, which it's on the second level of the rift, or not the ground level, the second level, and it's a whole cavern to itself, and they've just kind of built a 2-story square wooden entrance. Kind of looks like an old like saloon style fronting with like an overhang and a patio, but it's just blocking off the cavern. When you walk in the door, there's literally no other construction to the building, so it's just a giant open cavern with stalactites hanging from the ceiling, a couple stalagmites in the middle of aisles and things that you have to go walk around. But the moment you get in there, you just see shelves and shelves and shelves and like stacks on the floor of random stuff, like anything you could, like random old pamphlets and newspapers, piles of books in the back. There's mismatched silverware and mugs and silvery plates and like all kinds of things that you can potentially imagine. And kind of in the very, very back, there's a small stall that just sits at the back of the cavern. And sitting there, you see kind of this rotund man with this thick beard. And this is Charlie. And Charlie is the owner-operator of the Collector's Envy. And he does not ever give his last name, ever.
Yes.
So you do...
So that's
Source,
the
you
wanted
know him
man.
as Charlie. Jury, you know him as Charlie.
Yeah, I go
It's
Charlie,
Charlie.
when we go in.
Ah, Jury! It's good to see you!
Yes, good morning.
Ah, how you-
Charles, it's been a long time.
He kind of looks for a second. Is that Saurus?
Yes.
Quite nice to see you. What brings you back to the Rift with such a clean coat?
It is much cleaner than when I got it from you, yes.
Yes, that's true.
I'm here with friends.
Yes, welcome. Welcome to the Collector's Envy. If it can't be found here, it probably can't be found anywhere.
My friend Kaimana, well, you can see his lovely staff.
Yes.
He needs something else to go on it.
Oh.
Do you recommend anything?
I mean, there's so many shiny things. Are you looking for something metal? Gem? Stone?
What do you think, buddy?
Let me think. I think I'm feeling for something in the bone variety.
Bone. Interesting. Not where I would have gone at all. Let's see. He kind of gets up and he's like walking around some of the back stall areas and he's looking and he like reaches up to a thing and he's trying to pull something off of a shelf, and when he pulls it, like 3 or 4 of these objects like tumble down, and when one of them hits the ground it starts like releasing these pulsing lights, and he's like, what is, and he's like grabbing and he digs through this box and he's like, this is
Oh, wait, what's that?
that's a I don't really know what they're called, but he kind of reaches over and he like, there's like a button on the side and he clicks it, it shuts off, and when he holds it you see it's just like this little orb, this like glass orb, But then when he presses it again, it like it's like a little like setting off bright lights and shiny things. I'm not exactly sure. I think it's an enchantment of some kind. I imagine young artificers learn how to create these as like a skill test or something. But
Do you recognize it, Abel?
I'm not with you
yeah,
guys.
Abel's not with you.
Hello.
I'll get able to make you one, I guess.
Oh, okay, of course. And he kind of puts it back, and it go like the moment he tosses it in aside, it starts going off again, and he like reaches over and turns it off and sets it down. He says, "Well, as far as this is my like bone box," and he kind of sets it there in front of you, and looking in, you see like there's small little animal skulls, there's fragments of bones, there's one very large femur, but he has it's a box that's just filled with bones of any kind of variety that you can imagine.
There like some teeth in it.
Oh, yes, and he kind of there's a small box inside the larger box, and he pulls it out and sets it up, and when he lifts it up, it's filled with teeth.
I'll grab a couple.
Well, you want it's such an odd request with bones, but there are some shiny ones in there too, and he kind of punks around a little bit, and you see a couple where it looks like it's somebody who had like gold capping on their teeth.
Yeah.
And actually, I think if I remember correctly, I don't know who would really, you might be the first person who's ever looked in this box, but he's like digging around. He's like, this one's quite interesting, and he pulls out a canine. Looks like it might have been from like a half-working canine, slightly enlarged, or maybe like a small bear, maybe. But you see a canine tooth that has inset in it a very tiny emerald.
Ooh, yeah, I like that one too.
Okay, so you want this gold-capped one and this emerald one? Okay, anything else? I could do like, I don't know, 10 bones for silver.
Does that include those two?
Yeah, of course.
Yes, that sounds fair.
Oh, perfect. Okay, and he's so he lets you kind of just like choose randomly from the box.
Oh no, Druid smacks your hand away. No, it's on me today.
Oh, thank you, Joey.
Joey,
Yeah.
pleasant.
I also want that one. And that one.
Okay, no,
So
that's not how that works. No, stop. Okay, no, 10. 10 bones. That's all you need is 10 bones. Alright, well, any bones you want past the first 10 you can pay for. How's that?
Okay.
What is gold on this?
I think 10 will be fine.
How much did you say it was?
Silver.
10
A
bones
silver.
for a silver.
Yes. Minus 1 silver. You've experienced a family trauma. That means I treat you today. Congratulations.
I like those rules.
Going through a hard time, the least I can do is buy you bones, I guess? I don't know. What are you even using
Such
these
a
for? What are you using these bones for?
Well, now my staff.
Alright, well, I can't argue that. Sure.
Where would you keep your bones? In your pocket?
I don't think I have any bones, buddy. I don't think I have any spares.
Well, you should pick some up too. You never know when you need a bone.
I'm good. I'm gonna go look at the scarves or
They
something.
got a nice femur in here.
I'm good. I don't need the bones.
And Dre, there's like a whole section of the store that's like where he just throws all the fabric. And so there's all kinds of like pieces of torn cloth and like whole cloth and like, tossed aside cloaks and things over there. So if you're looking for a scarf, you can probably absolutely find something.
Sure. I just find a scarf that looks nice.
Good. That's a nice one. Let's say 3 yards of fabric. Let's say 5 copper. Simple.
Sure.
Yes.
Than't you.
Just get rid of it. It's been over there for ages.
I have something that I need to get rid of.
Oh, quite interesting. And he goes back behind his seat, and he pulls out kind of like a ledger. What would this be? And he kind of is looking around the room, and this is when you notice for the first time that there are these like emblems like painted in the ceiling at certain points. And he's like looking around, and he's like, would it be jewelry, armor, clothing, miscellaneous?
Jewelry.
Jewelry. Okay, let me go. Okay. Can I see the item or items?
One signet ring from the Haverleys.
He's
of the late Haverleys.
like he was looking at it like the moment you said Haverleys, he like Well, this is quite interesting. Okay, well, 1 second. He's taking it. He takes out a monocle and he's kind of looking at it. And then you see he's got some other tools and he's doing like a couple scratch tests on it and things. Leave it to the Havileys to go around wearing something this expensive. He sets it on a scale and like weighs it. It's probably a priceless object just because it has the Haverley symbol on it, but very difficult to unload anywhere else. I'll probably have to melt it down before I can get any use out of it. Can I give you its weight in platinum?
Sure.
It's not much. It's only 3.
Is that 30
It'll
gold?
be put better. It'll be.
Oh no. Oh no, I lost what you said after you said it would be put better.
I said it would be put. I'm sure you'll put it. It'll be put to better use, melted down than it ever was for the Haverleys.
That's probably true. I'm just imagining all of the fun that somebody might be able to have with such an object.
Dre like nods.
I'm sure the rogues might find it of interest.
That's true.
Writs of passage, writs of entry. I'm sure it would actually be worth more than melted down in the right, or should I say, the wrong hands.
I mean, I could absolutely do that. It is your object. I would like, if you would like an introduction, then the rogues might buy it from you before I would.
All right, we'll do that.
Okay. So let me pull up my rogues list really quick.
Let me get my pen ready.
You know, Soros, this makes you look a little sketchy. But I kind of like that, so.
Well, I was made in a lab and raised in the rift by monks.
To be fair,
My
that's
story
kinda-
is not. My story is a bit unique.
Honestly, in the rift, that seems a little normal.
Alright. So he says, probably your best bet would be Desmond Tarn. He's the quartermaster of the rogues here in the Rift. His administrative quarters are not far from the Foundry. They're on the same level. If you get to the entrance of the Foundry and take a left, you'll find the rogues' administrative entrances. Desmond would probably, yes, he'd probably be your best bet. If he doesn't purchase it, and I would absolutely be able to sell it to him, I'm sure, but if he doesn't purchase it, you can bring it back to me and the 30 gold stands.
Very well.
Is
Thank
he-
you.
Do I know Desmond?
You're aware of him. You don't interact with the rogues as much. And the rogues have only really been around in the Rift for about 6 months, maybe?
Or
Probably in the time that
I-
Saurus was training in the monastery, because he's not familiar with them. They've only recently kind of joined the Rift.
And I also need some gunpowder and some lead.
Oh yes, that could easily be arranged. See, he kind of goes over to the miscellaneous section of his thing, and I've got 2 lead bars.
Mm-hmm.
Is that useful?
Yes.
And I've got those are low on gunpowder. I've got 2 sachets, probably a quarter of a pound. Not very much.
I will take it.
Okay. So you got 2, and he says he's kind of calculating, and he's like, 2 silver for the lead bars, 3 for the gunpowder. Let's say 5 silver total.
I pay the man.
Okay.
How many bullets can I get out of this?
2 lead bars for your bullet, probably 10 per bar.
Okay.
Maybe 20 if you're getting the right person to do the foundry work for you.
No, this will be me doing down and dirty, and 20 will give me
Yeah,
enough
20
to
shots.
load back up. I was down to 9 shots left.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so whenever you do the work, you'll have 20 additional bullets. That works.
Yeah.
And half or quarter pound or whatever, that's probably equivalent amount of gunpowder that you'll need, so you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Easy math.
Does Jury have any? Not Jury. Charles have any? Does he carry anything that's magical in nature?
The one thing probably that I do not traffic in very much is magical items. Occasionally something does find its way here. Vox Populi and the rogues are very quick to snatch any of those things up.
Indeed, we are.
Right now, the only magical item might be the one that you decided not to purchase. And he holds up the little glowing ball again and sets it off and then sets it down on a table in front of him.
I'll take that.
Oh, okay. I don't even know. It's probably not worth anything. Three gold.
3 gold it is.
And you have like a disc. It's basically like a disco ball.
I give it to Kaimana.
You
To
got
mount on his staff.
Yeah,
a light of strobing.
yeah, a light of strobing.
There you go.
Thank you, Soros.
Like the only thing it's lacking underneath is like the, like the sound.
Well, you say this, but I picture it now mounted on the top of Kaimana's staff, and when he goes to cast Shillelagh, he basically pops it into something, and the light starts strobing. And if we ever need a distraction somewhere, we set this thing off and roll it across the room.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good
it's
idea.
not bad. Yeah.
What was the name of Charlie's shop again?
The Collector's Envy.
Yes, I had it written down. I could not get to my notes fast.
And did you give a last name for Desmond? I'm sorry.
Tarn.
Tarn. Like,
Tarn. T-A, like yarn, but with a T.
Like torn, but with an A.
Yeah, there you go. Either way.
It's important to me that Kaimana have his shinies.
Oh, yeah.
That started off our relationship with me buying him the silver spoons.
That's
Well, it was such a long wait for you to find out just how impressive the shiny collection was.
such a long wait.
Alright. Well, is that our business here?
I'm good.
Well, thank you all so for stopping by. I'm open whenever I'm awake.
Certainly.
Yes.
Thank you, Charles. Good to see you again.
Good to see you all.
Bye. Got the little scarf tied around.
He goes back to sitting down and takes out a book and he's just kind of reading through a book.
Oh.
Oh God,
Let's go.
Sully.
Sorry, what's
There's like the what is it, like in 101 Dalmatians, the dog calls, whatever. There's
yeah.
I heard dogs
What's it
barking in the
called?
distance, and then it got closer, and then Sully's
Twilight bark?
barking. The Twilight bark.
Twilight
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Sully,
The Twilight bark is happening right now.
you got him. You got him, baby.
You got
Scared
him,
him.
you good.
Come on.
They're terrified, Sully.
There's
Of
one of
their-
our
half
neighbors
committed
has a dog that every time she takes him for a walk, all you hear is the whole time the dog is walking is just like it just is constantly screaming
What?
the
The
whole
husky?
time. No, it's another hound dog, but it constantly is screaming.
Oh, that's a hound dog for you.
Yeah.
Not out.
Ugh.
All right. So you guys exit out Charlie's. Charlie's is not far from Lady Ms. Mira's if you want to swing that way, or you can head up to the Rogues. It's up to you.
Let's go to Miss Mira's so we can get Ronnie back into this. Abel back into
Okay.
it.
As you're walking by, you see, it's 30 or 40 minutes later, you're walking. You see Abel walking along one of the bridges up at the top, and then you're kind of you see him go, and then you
Send
see
him back.
he's
Yeah.
wandering, and then he's walking across another one, and seems a little lost.
I'll send a message up to him if I have the range. I think I'm
150 feet, probably. About, yeah.
yeah. I'm like, hey, Abel, you walking by yourself? And you can respond.
What's this message? Just enjoying the scenery. How do I find the fortune teller?
I thought that might be the case, and I'll tell him which way to go from there to
Okay.
get to us.
Yeah. So Abel makes his way down and comes across the connection bridge to you all, and you approaching Lady Mizmir's tent, and very familiar to all of you. It's the exact same tent that you saw at the Day of Ascension celebrations near Broadfield. And Lady Mizmir is actually sitting out front, which is interesting because she looks like you know her to look, Jury. None of you have seen this woman before. It's a kind of a darker skinned woman with a shaved head, beautiful long silver kind of cloak on her, it's tightly bound to her body in parts, and she's wearing beautiful jewelry. And she's just kind of outside watering plants in front of her tent, which is really weird because plants growing in the rift doesn't make a lot of sense, but they are. And she looks up from her thing and she says, "Oh, what a pleasure to see all of you again."
Again? They've been by?
I don't believe we have met before.
But I know each of you so well. I'm Lady Mizmira.
You're not
Good to see you again.
We met before.
Good to see you. Well, and she kind of breathes for a second, and then she passes her hand in front of her face, and her face completely transforms. And Abel, what you see in front of you is the very Nuwavian culture, like the gems and the jeweled necklaces and the robes that you saw before when you met Lady Mizmira. And then she passes her back, and she's back to the bald-headed. I like to, it gets boring just sitting in a tent all day.
I see now. Yes, you have the gifts of metasansi, the arcane magic.
Oh
sense.
yes, the trickster god, quite very much my patron.
My mother's as well.
As a trickster, I hope.
She's a mage.
Oh, more the intellectual side. I see.
Yes.
Not all bad.
We thought as a group we would come to visit and see if you have any good fortune to spread.
Oh, well, it has not been long since your last reading, but I imagine that some things may have changed. And she winks.
Do you do groups? Last time you read us individually.
Well, on occasion. Yes, I would happily do a group. Please, just 1 second. And she disappears inside the tent. And then kind of a couple moments goes by, and then you hear from inside, "You may enter."
Okay.
The moment you kind of enter the tent, very oddly, it's like the TARDIS. You walk in, and you are in a room that it's probably 30 feet by 40 feet circular, kind of like kind of little like wider circle than it is elliptical. Thank you, that's the word I'm looking for. Very tall, like circus tent level height, and there's the furniture in here is all much larger than it would be for a standard humanoid. And you do see there's a central table with a crystal ball in it, and 2 chairs sitting there. And there's a moment where you hear, "I'll be with you in just a moment," and you hear kind of footsteps, but they are like boom, 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 like much louder than normal footsteps. And walking around the corner at the back, like coming from behind a wardrobe thing, you see very tall, 30 feet tall, 40 feet tall, silver skin, long, luscious blue silvery hair, and wearing like a white mask, a giantess. And she kind of steps out and she stretches for a moment and then shrinks down in size, maintains all of her normal appearance, removes the mask, and she says, "Second time customers get to see who I really am for just a moment. But please." She kind of goes over towards the seat and takes a seat. Anybody can roll either a religion or a history check.
History?
Yeah.
It's a big lady. Oh, religion or history? Let me roll something.
All of us or just one of us?
Anybody who wants to. And then let
Okay.
me know whether it's religion or history.
I will do a religion check.
Oh,
And
that's a 21 religion.
Nice.
Yeah.
I got a 10 religion.
God, I keep hitting the wrong button. Y'all are doing religion. I'll do history.
They would result in different answers, so that would be good to have.
Yeah, history. I got a 15.
15. And Soros chose not to roll.
Well, it's I figure with Source's limited lifespan that this is,
Yeah.
and every time I have rolled one of these,
It
I've
all-
always rolled extremely low, which is appropriate.
Yep.
So
The
I'm
dice
just going to
know.
go ahead and
Yep.
assume that I'm going to get a 2 or a 3 and just call it a day.
Source just sits quietly so he can learn something new. That's
Yes.
Exactly.
So religion-wise, Abel and Kamana, both of your rolls would be high enough to know this. Before you stood very clearly a cloud giant. They are known as being the, as far as like, in much the same way that the gods created the dragons, the second creation of the gods were what were called the Anakim, which are the tribes or the ordinings of the giants. And Metasansi's tribe of giants were the cloud giants. They're known for being tricksters. They're known for being really into like playing tricks on people, playing games, that kind of thing. Very odd for one to be here because they typically live in conclaves on cities that are in the clouds.
Can you spell her name for me?
Mizmira is
M-Y-R?
Mizsmira.
Oh, it's not like Miss Mir.
No, Mizmira. Lady Mizmira. Because otherwise it'd be Lady Miss Mira. What's your name? Lady Miss Mira. Yeah. History-wise, what you kind of get out of that jury is like the legend of the cloud giants when the cloud cities kind of were flying away from Alyria. Several of them decided to kind of set up shop in the continent and not go away with the clouds, and so they are known to be like there's a legend that one of the kind of advisors to the Curia Regis or the court is actually a cloud giant who keeps their appearance hidden from other people. So there's legends around the world, like around the continent, of people who just swear that they've seen a cloud giant like walking through town square one day or whatever.
So it's kind of a cool, rare occurrence to
Yes.
see. Oh, okay.
But it also explains Mizmira's ability to change her shape because they're natural they're naturally gifted with magic, and so like her ability to change her form and all those elements.
It's like illusion magic, probably.
And she's a
So,
trickster, so yeah.
That's amazing to Abel. I want to ask her so many questions.
Well,
So you are a cloud giant in disguise, living in the rift.
am I in disguise?
That is another philosophical question. I have not had the best time with those lately.
Often we use magic to make ourselves appear how we feel to appear in the moment.
Yes, I like that answer.
Same here.
It's a fair use of magic, yeah. So,
Well,
do
I have
you-
to stretch my, stretch my mind, as it were, every now and then.
It makes perfect sense. Do you know much about the flying cities of the cloud giants?
Well, I was born on one, so I would hope so.
I want to ask. We recently had a interaction with a woman by the name of
Alyria.
Alyria Highwind. She mentioned an associate of hers who is trying to build a castle in the sky. And we believe that was a reference to the profane citadel, the flying city.
Yes. Well,
Do you know anything?
no, I was born on Nimbus, which is the capital flying city, as it were. A lot of stuffy storm giants wandering around, and not quite the place for me. No, the flying the profane citadel hasn't been seen in quite a long time. It would be very impressive if somebody was trying to build something on it.
How would you find a flying city?
Well,
Would we be welcome if we did?
whoever controls the crystal, I think, as it were, gets to tell the flying city where to go. In a traditional flying city, that would be the highest ranking member of the ordering. So in Nimbus, it would be the king of the storm giants. For Sirius, it would be the high trickster of the cloud giants. You know, each leader gets to kind of control the flight of the city. If nobody's there to control it, then it just kind of goes with the wind. And I think that's what people believed was happening with the profane citadel. That after it fell, it was just afloat up there, who knows where.
I would have to look back at weather patterns from hundreds of years ago.
Well, unless, I mean, I think there would probably be protections in place, but the legend goes that, well, Abel, you should know this.
Yes, I just find it very fascinating to hear the history from someone who...
Yes, but the Rakshasas, who took over the profane citadel, I imagine that they were not able to work the crystal. But maybe they were, I don't know.
Well, I hope not.
Just pray they were not. Okay, this was not the main reason why we came. I just was taken aback when I saw that you were, in fact, a
giantess.
Yes.
Yes.
Big.
Yes. I can be very tiny too, would you like? Okay. Well, I mean, I'm happy to give you a reading, but I will let you know that most of it's bullshit.
I like it.
That's not a very good business practice.
Well, I don't
It's
know. I
entertaining.
feel like, you know, I already got money from them last time, and I felt bad about it. But I really think some of it actually kind of stuck or was real. Maybe I am getting the ability. I don't know. Maybe it's real.
I just want to hear what you say about Jordan.
Ooh, Jury is a repeat customer.
But, okay, you don't have to tell them how often. I
Oh,
come.
sorry.
It's not
Jury's
that-
never been here before. Never seen them before in my life.
Just I need, you need guidance every now and then.
Of course, guidance. And she touches you, and you feel this like spell energy wash over you. Guidance. Yes. You can add a d4 to any roll over the course of the next
Ooh.
10 minutes.
Roll for something.
Yeah.
Well, I meant more in the, I don't know, maybe some insight. I mean, you said you were getting better.
Maybe, I don't know. Perhaps there was somebody else traveling with you that's not here. Angry girl, actually a wolf, I believe.
Oh, well.
Yes, I think that her reading was spot on, but that was, sometimes the cards work, sometimes they don't. I don't know.
Yes, she's elsewhere in the city at the moment.
Well, hopefully she's happier.
She's...
I don't know her very well, but
Come on,
Maybe
Oti.
less angry. I wouldn't go happy, but I might go less angry.
Well, moving in a positive direction, then that's good.
Maybe fair.
Yes, well, we can see. I did just get this crystal ball. My uncle sent it to me, and he's much more into like divination arts than I am.
ooh, moving up in the world.
Let's give it a shot.
Well, let's just see. So have a seat. And so she kind of waves her hand, and like 3 seats. There was only 1 seat there across from you, but 3 seats kind of slide across in front of the table. And she sits down. She pulls this cover off of the crystal ball, and she, you have to keep them covered always when you're not using them. Otherwise, they'll start fires. Terrible mess.
It's not because of the bad spirits.
Oh no! If the light hits them just the right way, they, create like this little pinpoint of light, and then just poof, house fire. Terrible thing. So let's just see what's going. And so she kind of sits down and she says, "Take hands, please." And she reaches out.
Give me your hand.
All right. And she grabs your hands and she kind of hums for a moment and is making these big motions and. Oh, all right. Okay, and she starts weaving her hand around this, and you can start seeing she's making these arcane symbols in the air, and light starts kind of pouring off of her hands around the crystal, and then it goes into the crystal and starts swirling around on the interior side. All right. Who is it? Group or is it just Juridan then? Group.
Please.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, whoever your chosen representative is would like to look into the crystal ball.
Alright.
Kamana?
Oh, or Kamana, yeah. Come on.
I'll look.
All right, come on up. Roll a wisdom
I
save.
think we all said someone different.
Did you?
That's-
Did you say stars?
I started to say jewelry.
That's
Well,
like
to me,
Oh my god.
Kaimana named the ticket takers. He has named our boat,
That
and
is
he has been
so true.
Yep.
he has been our spokesman when we really needed someone eloquent. Kaimana has been the one. So
Right.
to me, he is the de facto leader of the ticket takers.
roll a wisdom saving throw, Kaimana.
That's
Kamana?
a 25.
25. Fantastic. So there's a moment where you like are staring into the ball and you feel like this piercing energy kind of hit you, and it feels like it's about to put you to sleep, but you shrug it aside. And then you look back into the ball and what you kind of see coming out of it, and she says, just tell me what you're seeing as you see it. And you see these images of sick individuals like walking through a city street, and then you see like an expanse of space. There's just clouds drifting into the distance, no horizon line, no ground. Then your vision kind of falls back into the ocean, and you're swimming among fish and sharks in the distance and glowing jellyfish. And then you're rising back out, and there's this beautiful sunset going across the landscape, when suddenly you see this black tear in the sky ripping across the sunset, and the shadow veil, which you're very used to seeing. You grew up in the Vanishing Isles. It's always on the horizon. You see it rolling out of this veil and encompassing the entire ground around you. And that's when the swirling mess in the middle like vanishes and turns into black smoke and disappears out of the ball. Well, never quite seen anything like that before. Maybe I am getting better.
Sounds amazing.
Well,
What do you interpret that to mean?
well, it felt very much like present, future, and death, as it were, always, in the end.
Thanks.
Are you planning on going somewhere where there's sick people?
Well, I don't think so.
The Boreal Quarter.
Going to the
Yeah,
Boreal
they-
Quarter to get to the monastery.
Oh, well, yes, then. There's lots of sick people there. Not sure why you would see... Did you say an endless expanse of clouds with no horizon?
I said lots of clouds with no end in sight.
That sounds very much like the elemental plane of air.
Just always air. Just nothing but air.
Well, yes, air, as it were. I think there are like random like clumps of water that flow through the air there, but for the most part it's just air.
So like clouds.
Yes. But there's also like just blobs of solid water there too. Not solid, but liquid water.
And what about?
So you could swim in the air.
I think it's mostly falling, but you just kind of like figure out where you're falling, and you're just constantly doing it.
Sounds good.
What about the fishes?
Does not swim.
Well, I feel like that was for you, Kaimana.
I like fishes.
You might be returning home, or back to the waters, as it were.
Might be.
The
I'm
underwater
most
castle?
concerned by that final image.
I don't know what that was. It was
I
like a
don't-
shadow, and it was not nice. I'll say that. It was not nice.
So, my interpretation, I feel like there are things afoot that you might be connected to that you are not aware of.
Kaimana looks at his feet.
And
Not literally.
not on foot, afoot. That your actions might be tied to things that could directly affect the balance of power in the world.
Uh-oh.
His
Oh.
his actions.
I feel like all of you.
Oh well.
You were part of the group, Jordan.
Well, yeah, I suppose. Contractually obligated, all that. whole
Yes,
thing.
some people think that the crystal orb is supposed to just like show you, like walking in a door and like who's the face of the man that I love. It doesn't do that. It just shows you images of things. Sometimes from your past, sometimes from your future.
Oh yeah, and never ask it dating questions.
Oh, you can. It's just terrible idea.
Why do I have the suspicion that Jordan has done this before?
No.
It
No,
is-
never.
It's all chaos.
Sounds right.
Chaos all the time.
You definitely need to charge more now that you have this, though.
It's impressive, isn't it?
It
Okay,
is.
on a scale of 1 to 10, Kaimana, did you enjoy it?
Yes.
That's not a scale of
Yes.
1 to 10, but I appreciate the answer.
Is that a 10
Good.
then?
I say that I didn't like some of the stuff I saw.
Well, I can't control that, unfortunately. I think a
So
lot
the
of it's actually the
overall-
energy that you're putting out more than it is me.
I say about an 8.
An 8. Well, I can work with that. We can always improve on an 8.
Some, yeah, I think that's
Maybe
Yeah.
like, and she kind of like makes some arcane motions, and you see like these like glowing lights start dancing around her in the background. She's like, maybe like if this is going on while like it's all happening, right?
It's all
Uh,
together.
Stealth roll.
Okay.
Oh, what are you doing, sir?
22
Okay.
to reach over and turn on the ball on Kaimana's staff.
Okay. Are you trying to hide it from Kaimana or from Ms. Mira?
Kaimana.
Okay, so Kaimana, make a. Well, what's your passive? That beats your passive perception, Kaimana. So Kaimana, you're sitting there, kind of like looking at the dancing lights that Ms. Mira is putting up, and then suddenly your staff right behind your head, you feel like you see this out of the corner of your eye, like flashing lights.
Like when a cat gets like a paper bag stuck on its tail. It's kind of like one of those. What's that?
Stop. You have to press it again.
Ms.
Stop.
Mira, like, she flashes her hands, and all of her dancing lights fade. So the only one that's left is the one on Kaimana's staff.
No.
Hold still and I can turn it
Get-
off. Stop. Stop moving and I can get it. Snick.
It's definitely an entertaining establishment.
Yes. Oh, hold on. Okay. All right. So, Ms. Mira is just like, well, I won't charge you. This was a test run. You're the first one to get a reading out of the orb anyway.
Thank you.
And to be honest, I don't really need the money. Let's just do it for fun.
Oh, I do have a question. Can I? Well, DM, when I was with Phileas, did he have any input on the flaming head that's in my bag, and how we can get rid of it, or what we can do with it?
Phileas' suggestion was to let it out and just like hit it the moment it came out of the bag.
Will it still be like loyal to its creator, even if its creator's probably dead?
Yes.
Okay.
Its creator's you don't know whether its creator's dead or not.
Oh, I just assumed the Rakshasa, that disgusting beast, created it.
You would know that Rakshasas probably don't have the ability to do that.
Oh, okay, cool.
Like, that is a spell that is cast on a spirit.
No, we have a pocket nuke. I say we keep it and unleash it at the opportune moment.
The great thing about, I think the opposite. You should take apart the nuke so it doesn't blow up on you.
Well, at the very least, can I ask?
I envision us being somewhere where we roll Kaimana's orb and then untie the bag of holding and throw it in and slam the door behind it.
At the very least, can I ask Lady Ms. Mira if she knows of any way to better secure the... I need to just buy a lock and like put a lock on the thing until we're ready to use it. If we do use it.
Well, I mean, do you want it locked?
I don't want the creature to get out until we want it to get out.
Well, I'm assuming that you have the ability to undo this because you are magical, and she reaches out and touches your bag, and you hear, like, she casts this, like, you see her casting a spell, and you hear, like, a sound in the air, like the sound of a giant lock just clicking into place as she casts Arcane Lock on your
Yes, he
thing.
knows Arcane Lock.
And so you literally cannot open this until... do you know Knock?
I do not know. I know Arcane Lock, I
I don't
think.
think it took Knock.
Yeah, literally can't be opened until you figure out a way to undo the Arcane Lock.
Well,
Oh
isn't
no,
this
wait a
one of your-
moment.
Well,
Isn't this one of your things that if you make something different, this one disappears?
Yes.
what is
That's
the
the way to open it.
What
Yeah.
does the spell
That's
magic
true.
do on arcane locks too? Does it only stop the magic part, not the lock part?
So
No, it would undo it.
oh, so sorry. She says to you, Abel, if you want it to be open, just say, what's the most ridiculous thing I can possibly make you say?
I am soft and fluffy.
Oh yes. Okay. So I'm soft and fluffy, and it will undo the lock for a minute.
This sounds fair. Well, and it's like you see, even if I forget the activation word, I can just undo the infusion,
Yes.
and everything inside will come pouring out. All of my items that are in there.
Yeah.
Well, it's such a very odd thing that you're walking around with 2 bags of holding. That's quite excessive.
It's
There's
maybe
a flaming skull in one of them.
Right. So I'm just saying, once you figure this all out, you could just like transfer your materials, whatever.
yeah, but in the meantime, I don't think I have access to some of the things. If I get a bit thirsty, I might have to ask to use someone else's water skin.
Well, I'm sure we won't let you
I've
thirst
got
to
you
death.
covered with the alchemy jug.
Very good point.
Just how much mayonnaise does someone need?
That's not a question to ask Emma.
Lady Ms. Mira, if you wouldn't mind, now that you have the crystal ball, could we maybe try that thing I came in here last time about? Jury will message to her, like kind of like cover their mouth so y'all can't see what they're saying.
I think message is purely telepathic.
I think you have to mouth the words.
You do
out.
have to
I
mouth
think
it.
you have
Okay.
to
Oh,
speak
it,
sending is telepathic.
It's-
Message
it's
isn't. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So they like cover their mouth and like so y'all won't see what they're saying, in case you have lip reading. But they do that, and then they ask about the person they've been looking for.
Who you've been looking for?
Yeah, the thing.
The person.
I can message it to you if you need me to. It's your mind here.
Yeah. Send me. Well, I can pull it up on your thing. Hold on, real quick.
Yeah. I'll Facebook message you it really quick.
The fact that you're messaging Josh about your
That is a way to do message. Yeah.
No.
That's always what I think is like magic users, what they do
Yeah.
when they want to message.
I've
They're
got
like,
it. Okay.
yes.
Oh. Well.
Should we leave?
That's
Do you
quite
need some
personal.
privacy?
Would you like time by yourself with that?
If that would be all right, I don't mean to kick you all out, but
Well, that's fine.
It's fine. I can show Kaimana and Sordis all of the new things that I made while I was with Phileas this morning.
Did you
That would
decide
be
on your object?
Yeah, I got them.
What'd you did?
I did the. Oh, you want to know right now? Well, I can't undo the bag of holding because.
No, but what's the third one you decided to do?
Oh, I got the repulsion shield, and I got the other stuff. The homunculus.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. So you could actually spend the 5 minutes when this is happening summoning your homunculus if you wanted to.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that.
All right. So you guys
And
head
I'll
out.
introduce
head
them
out
to
of-
the newest member of the ticket takers.
You head out of the tent, and Jury's there alone. And she says, "Well, Jordan, the cards have not been very helpful in your excursion, so maybe this would be better." She casts a similar spell, and the light falls into the orb. Make a wisdom saving throw.
Let's see where that is on D&D on. Saving throw, you said?
Yeah.
That's the one I have nothing in. Oh, I got a 3.
A 3. So you're staring into the lights, and there's a moment where like you're kind of it feels like the light is penetrating inside of you, and then like when you open your vision, all you see are these dancing lights of the orb. And there's a moment where you just see like this silhouette of this woman, and she's like flying into the orb's vision, and then she just fades into darkness. And then you open your eyes, and Lady Mesmere is standing over you, and she was going, "Oh my God, are you okay? I didn't think that would happen."
Oh, I'm fine. It's just I got a headache. I looked too closely, maybe.
Oh no, this is from my uncle, and he's an asshole. I think it's probably cursed. I don't know.
I don't think
She
I
quickly
don't think-
covers it.
It's okay. I don't think it was the orb.
Did you see anything?
I saw her, but going away.
Ugh,
So pretty similar to what we've been talking about.
I'm sorry I could not be of more help.
It's fine. Maybe we'll try again later.
Yes. She kind of snaps and checks under the thing to make sure that the spell has dissipated. And well, pleasure to see you again, Jerry, of course.
You too.
And
Thank you.
I like to keep my little secrets.
Oh, Vox Populi. We deal in secrets, and we keep them to ourselves.
It's odd for a group that always remembers to conveniently forget at the exact right moment.
It's what we do best. Thank you. And I'll bow to her and
Yes.
head out.
Alright, you go outside, and what does Jury see, Abel?
Oh, so while Jury was inside, Abel reached into his little coin purse and pulled out an amethyst that we got at some point during the adventuring. And I activate my magical infusion on it. Hold on, wait, let me see. Is it a tiny construct or a small construct?
They're tiny.
And you see, in the crystal begins to glow, and then around it forms a little, it's a good sized little spider construct, but the body is made of amethyst crystals, and at the joints it's little metal fixtures at each joint. And this is my new little homunculus servant, and his name is Anansi.
Oh, Nancy, I love
Yes. And he's
It's
going to be our newest member.
He's smaller than Kaimana.
He is quite small, but I
Can't
think
he
he's
fly?
he can fly. So he weaves a little web really quick between his little legs, and he holds onto it, and he's flying around. You ever seen Spider-Man the animated series? There's a episode where he makes a parachute out of his webbing. So that's what it is. So he makes a little parachute out of his webs, and he's holding onto it with two of his little legs, and he uses that to fly around.
I love it.
This reminds me of one of the constructs from Girl Genius, where it's the little mechanical figure that houses the intellect of Castle Heterodyne.
Yeah.
nice.
Oh, sounds
So this is, I don't know,
Really likes it.
she likes him. This is a Nancy.
Sully approved.
What can Anansi do?
He does not have to sleep. So if we need to stay awake to, keep watch, he can either assist someone or he can watch for us. He is pretty stealthy. And as I get better at my own magic, he will increase as well. He can do his own attack. And I can channel certain spells through him as well. We have a telepathic
Convenient.
bond. And he cannot be poisoned.
reading his stat block.
I'm just,
his
you can
strength,
see,
his
you can
strength
see in the
is
dark.
-1.
Oh yeah, he's not very strong.
Will
You
he
can see in the
land
dark, and he's pretty.
land
Can
in
he-
my hands?
Yeah, he can land in your hand.
Everyone else in the ticket takers is scared of spiders apparently, so that's.
Everyone's scared, and Jury's like, "Ooh, look at this thing." Not a real
I'm
spider.
ambivalent. It depends on the size of the spider.
I guess
Taurus, it's not a real
big enough.
spider.
It's probably the same
he'll
size
ride
as
around
your.
on my back most
It's
of the
probably
time.
the same size as your cure wound spider, if not a little bigger.
You never
It's
saw
probably like-
some of the spiders that they experimented on while they were experimenting on me.
Well,
Maybe his body's
When
like
it's the size of a pony, it's something different.
So there were spiders, Saurus.
uh-oh.
Write that down.
Taurus,
I didn't say the experiments were successful.
Taurus,
They tended to explode, but
Well, my advice is nothing a dagger can't fix, and they just like happily like playing with the little spider.
Oh,
How cute! What do you think, Kaimana?
I like it.
he's
Yeah.
pretty friendly. He can't speak. but he can
Anansi
speak.
like immediately like crawls in your sleeve, and is like crawls. You can feel crawling up your arm underneath your, and he pops out at your neck, and he's like he sits on your shoulder, Jury.
How cute!
Probably stay there most of the time. He can fly pretty well, but he sort of moves kind of slow when he is walking. He only has 20 feet of movement, so,
he's
Alright,
got
but he
little
can
tiny
fly
legs.
for
Little-
30 feet.
Little
so-
legs. Right.
I love it.
Shall we go see Desmond?
All right. So you guys head up to the 4th floor, where Abel just came from, and then make your way to, as they said, to the left, and
Yeah.
you see the.
And I picture Abel like starting to go one way and Jordan just grab.
Very,
And we get at the
Jury's
next
trying to-
landing and grab.
Yeah, you literally just came from here. What is going on?
They're like
I have
trying to explain to you how the rifts like pathways work, and they're talking like it's so easy, but it's complete nonsense. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
like Jury's like, yeah, you have to just look for this symbol, and they're pointing out the symbol, and it's like a circle with a dot in this particular place, and they're like, but not this symbol, and you look at it, and it's a circle with a dot, looks like in the exact same place. You're like, I don't they're all the
Yeah.
same.
They're like,
Yeah.
if there's a clothesline on Wednesday here, you don't want to
Yeah,
go down
no,
that way.
yeah.
And they're just like
Like-
telling you.
Somebody tied a sock
Yeah,
around
and,
this
and
tree.
Creation
platform
porn
C
land.
connects to pathway E
Yeah.
unless it's D.
On Fridays it's D, and then on
It's
Thursdays
like the
they
New
shut
York
it
City
down.
subway
Yeah.
system.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah,
Yeah.
Jury's just like trying to explain it to you.
All right, and
This
then
is high.
you make your way up, and there's an interesting kind of like split where, like, if you go to the foundry to the right, you see Chasm Watch members there, and they all have like the Vox Popula symbol there. You turn left, and all the Chasm Watch members have the Rogue symbol that from the other side that you're seeing, and they're kind of watching you approach, and then one kind of steps up, and it's a female human. Yes. The fuck you want?
Talk to Desmond Tarn. Have an item that might be of interest and use to him.
Oh, Desmond. Do you have an appointment?
No.
Oh, good. We don't take appointments. He should be available. If he's not, please return and exit Thank you. I'll keep an eye out. She
Yep.
kind of lets you pass.
That's a polite rogue.
And so you walk in, and the very similar cavern as to the foundry, but instead of filled with whatever smithing areas and things like that, this one is like almost like an armory. Like they've got swords and all kinds of things set up there. You see a couple guns, which are interesting, and there's a man kind of looking over the armory, kind of taking notes on all of it, and he kind of turns and looks in your direction. I assume that you're here to see me.
Desmond Tarn?
Desmond, yes.
Was speaking with Charles down at the name of the place.
Lectures in.
Yes, Charles. Charles is sending another lost soul up my way.
Well, I had an item that I was going to him, but we thought you might value it. And I pull out the signet ring.
Okay. Charles, of course, sent you, and he kind of takes it and he's looking at it and... So you're the one.
It won't be... I can neither confirm nor deny that.
Of course. Looks at it. It could be quite useful. The Haverley family is not entirely destroyed, so to have a signet ring of theirs would be a potential power.
Plus, Lady Haverley is no longer around to say what final orders she may or may not have given for rite of passage, for example, for trade goods, that sort of thing.
Good point. Well, yes, I think this might be very useful for our work in the Riverlands. 65 gold.
It's been a pleasure doing business with you.
And he tosses a sack your way, and then pulls out a platinum and 5 gold and hands it to you. The sack only has 50 gold in it, so he's just filling up the rest.
Okay.
Well,
Desmond, can
yes.
I ask you something?
Of course. You're
have you
Juridan,
had-
correct?
Yes, and I'll do the little curtsy bow kind of thing.
Not here. I know you Vox Populi stand on whatever. The rogues don't give a shit about that.
Yep, sorry. Old habits die hard. I was wondering, have you had anyone go missing lately from your members?
Oh, not here, but there was one of our operatives in Banktown a couple weeks ago went missing. There have been word across the whole of Alyria, mostly in the Veltland and on this side of the mountain. Not quite as far as like the Riverlands. Although I did hear that there was a couple people from what was the name of that place? Ipswich or Northwick, one of the Riverlands towns, where a couple both vanished on the same night around the Day of Ascension.
Ah,
Did we know about these before?
You hadn't heard about
I
that
asked
before.
Kamana and Source.
No, you guys left Broadfield pretty quickly after the Day of Ascension, so that information would not have gotten to you.
They better not have taken away the Northwood Funds, lady.
I was about to say, excuse me, Mr. Dismont.
We will burn this town to the ground.
Yeah,
it's troubling.
it is. And you heard about Ben, right?
That's mainly why I was asking.
Yes. Hopefully not connected. I would hate to see the Rift dealing with the same stuff that's happening elsewhere.
Sure, and Ben would only be the first if that was the case, probably. So,
Well, as much as Vox Populi and the rogues are working together here, we're not doing a very good job of sharing information. So if you hear something, Jerry, it might be worth your time to let us hear about it here.
certainly,
And he
love to-
he reaches into his pocket, he pulls out a platinum coin and flicks it your direction.
Jury will like mage hand and like it kind of holds in midair and like lowers back down to the table and says, "Information. We are in agreements of sorts, right? I feel like it's more in good faith to just share."
Well, everything has its price, but it's good to know what yours is. And he takes it and puts it back in his pocket.
Excellent. And Jury will like nod, and that's all they want to say, so they'll step back. Anyone else?
I don't think so.
Well, if you ever, make it out to the desert, you should stop by a home sometime.
Sure. All right. Thank you for your time.
Absolutely. He goes back to kind of counting and organizing the materials there. He slides the signet ring on his finger.
When we exit out, Jury will just kind of like offhandedly mention to you all, you should never take money before you have something to trade for, because then they have a leg up on you. I feel it's just the way of things.
Have them in debt to you rather than you being in debt to them.
Information is more powerful than any money. And they just kind of like shrug. And then they do that like goofy smile where they're like pretending to be dumb. And they're like, what are we talking about? What are we talking about anyway? What are we doing now?
Yeah.
That is good. Were those all the things that you wanted to get rid of, Sonis?
Yes.
Are there any supplies in town you need, April?
I don't believe so. I think I took care of everything I wanted to when I was with Mr. Phileas. Enjoy spending time with your old friend, Solis. He's a good man.
Yes. Yes, he is.
Reminds me of working next to my old proctor, or my father, or my mother. Love exchanging ideas with him. I'm trying to look to see if I wrote anything down from our last time. No, I think I'm good.
Guys, if there's nothing else you'd like to do, you can make your way back to Iris. Or
Yes.
you can go onto the Boreal Quarter
Are
without
Atwood
her.
and Ace frozen, or is it just on my
They
screen?
are frozen.
Oh no, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not wandering off without her.
Well, all right. So with that in mind, and like heading off to, I guess to meet back up with Iris and head on to the Boreal Quarter. We will go ahead and take our 10-minute break there, and then we'll be
Oh,
back
Mar messaged.
for the last 45 minutes.
Yes.
Grace.
All right. So
Thank you,
see you
30.
all in 10.
Thank you, 10.
Thank you, 10.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tan.
All right, so welcome back from the break, and we've got Marla with us. For the
Yay!
break. All right, so you guys were, after dealing with Ms. Mira and the rogues for the first time, interacting with them, and Charles, you made your way back towards the Hoarder's Folly, where Iris Corday is there waiting for you. And you see Marlo standing nearby, not remotely close to Iris, I imagine.
She has no idea.
Opposite side of the room.
Yeah. Like,
Marlo's like, why is Iris here? That's weird.
like
It's weird that she would be here.
Marlo's like outside the Hoarder's Folly, and Iris is like sitting there. There's just like this weird tension across the 50 feet or so separating
I gave
them.
her a nod as she walked in, but then did nothing else to acknowledge
Well, she's
her.
like she's outside, like on
Okay.
one of the platforms, like overlooking the whole rift or whatever.
Great. No. You're not.
And Amalia is standing there with Marlo as well, and Amalia says, "Well, I suppose you are coming back here when you all finish in the quarter."
Yeah. Should we like go talk to her? It feels weird. I didn't say hi to her at first, and now I feel like acknowledging it is weird.
I don't. From what you told me about her, I imagine she probably won't give a shit.
Yeah, I
Do you really? Does it really bother you not to say hi to her?
Well, I just feel like maybe she's kind of. I lean in really close to Amalia, psychotic. So I just don't want her to be like mad and then be like, okay, now I'm gonna go burn a village. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't really get her vibe.
She kind of reaches out and like grabs the locket that's around your neck, and she kind of holds it for a second. She goes, "I think you'll be able to handle it either way."
Cool. I guess I'll go talk to her.
And Amalia says, like, I'm just going to. You have a room, right? I'm just gonna.
Yeah.
I'm so tired. I'm gonna go crash some more. And
Yeah, totally.
yes. Oh God, Sully.
She knows I'm here. She's excited.
She's so excited. All right. So then the rest of the group approaches, and Iris kind of wheels back for a moment, and well, are we ready to go?
Us? Is it us?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I wasn't
She's
listening.
like, Marlowe's not speaking in her direction. She's not like, she's not forcing a conversation with Marlowe.
Yeah, Iris is joining us. She has business where we're going.
Mm-hmm. Where we're going.
Promise to
I
stay out
nod.
of your way.
I'm sure you'll be more than helpful.
No, more the merrier.
Well, I don't know what you are planning in the Boreal Quarter, but I need to go there.
We have to
Where
go through there
exactly-
to get to the monastery, Marlowe.
Where exactly
Okay.
do you plan to go in the Boreal Quarter, Iris?
I have a few associates I need to see.
Does it have to do with the plague that is happening in the area?
Unfortunately, no. Something else.
Okay. I won't press too much further.
And I won't ask where you're going as well. Sorry, this is very tense, and it's already I don't mean it to be.
I just have a curious mind, is all.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's
You know, we've been through a rough couple of days. I think just tensions are high in general, you know?
Jury will take out their dulcimer and like start playing it, and is like, "All right, well, that's
calm emotions.
Please tell me you're playing Wonderwall.
Today's gonna be the day.
I feel like it's the equivalent of like lo-fi hip-hop beats to study to. It's like just like
It's real, like,
favorite.
calming.
Yeah.
There you go.
beautiful background music
Love it.
with no real message to it.
So, well, suppose Soros probably knows the way, but I'll lead. And she starts wheeling off. And she's going up towards like the fourth level on the opposite side from the foundry. And once you get up there, you realize that like there's a cavern that kind of peels off in that direction, and you follow it for 300 or 400 feet. It's a 10-minute walk or so, and then you get to a point where there's a large arch, and there's an attendant there, or a chasm watch soldier or guardsman, and she kind of nods in their direction and then kind of rolls into the room, and like it's just this circular chamber. It's like there's no entrances or exits, and she's just like, in here, please. And so you all kind of follow in, and then she nods at the chasm watch, and he pulls a lever at the side, and suddenly the whole floor like shakes him for a moment and then begins to lift up, and you find yourself kind of rising in an elevator through the solid rock walls there. And Soros, you know this is one of the first contraptions that Phileas built in the Rift, was this elevator that headed up toward the Boreal Quarter.
Okay. I let the group know that we are going to be coming out in the basement of a tavern, and it's owned by a drow, and that this is to be kept secret.
Yep.
Only those that know need to know.
Yeah. So it rises. It's probably a good 500-600 feet. It's kind of hard to tell. 1,000 feet, it's hard to tell how far you're rising, but it can be, it's a little bit of an awkward like elevator ride, especially without having like the music playing, you know, to like ease the tension, except for Jury. Jury's playing the music for the elevator ride. Perfection. And then you arrive. There's a moment where like it looks like you're going to be slamming into the ceiling. It just keep rising, but then you notice that like these doors kind of pull aside, and the elevator kind of rises up into position and kind of locks in place, and it blends in with the floor of what looks like you're in a cellar chamber. There's casks of ale against a wall. There's a whole like wall of wine bottles that are kind of dusty and kind of cobwebs, and there's some storage in this space, and it does appear to be in the basement of a tavern of some kind. Well, this way, and she kind of rolls over, and she approaches these staircases, and you see her chair, the wheels on them kind of flip out for a moment, and they lift her up kind of at each stair height as she goes up to the top of the landing at the top of the staircase. And then she keeps rolling out. You'll follow.
Yes.
Jury right behind her.
Yeah. And then so she rolls out into the kind of the back area of this bar, comes around the side of the kind of the main bar area, and then into the bar itself. And it's a pretty typical bar on the inside, but the first thing that you notice is that literally like it's almost like if you've ever been to like a music hall where they have a lot of, you know, underground hip hop groups coming or small bands, where literally it's just like those 8.5 by 11 printed flyers for the band are just like all over the walls, pasted everywhere. Like the walls within this tavern are pasted like that. And when you're getting close and you're looking at them, you're seeing like statements of protest. Like you see a couple posters or flyers that are saying things like remember the flood, or you know, like we always remember, like these kind of vox populi messages. There's a smattering of new posters that you can see that are descriptions of people that are missing. You know, a couple missing people posters, memorials of people who have died from the disease that's racking the Boreal Quarter. There's a couple protest posters that are very new that just simply say, "Give us their bodies," and like these are posted everywhere. The bar is relatively empty at this hour of day. There's like one person in the back corner, and then the barkeep, who is tall, difficult to tell age, with an elven creature, but an older male drow, deep purple, dark skin, shock of silver hair, and he's just kind of standing there, and he kind of, when he looks up and sees Iris, he's like, "I didn't quite expect to see the Maven in my bar today." And Iris just nods, and she says, "Well, I've got business in the quarter, of course." Yes, well, the quarter always loves to see you.
Jury will like wave at him.
Good to see you, Joey. When are you coming back for another performance?
Oh, you know, I'm a bit tied up at the moment, but
Yeah.
I'll make some time soon.
Swing by anytime.
Not literally.
I know.
Pats you.
Right.
With the ticket takers.
So, Iris kind of looks in your direction. She says, "Well, I suppose this is where we part ways. Unless there's anything that you need from me."
No, if anything comes up, I'll send to you.
Jury, take them the long way.
Certainly.
And then she kind of rolls out the front door. The moment she opens the door is this shock of sunlight that comes into the darkened chamber, and then she closes it behind her, and she kind of disappears out.
Alright, a drink before we go, or right into business?
I mean,
Right into business, and right
sometimes
the long way.
Like the bar just like, sometimes a drink is business, Jerry.
Jury will put their flask on the counter for him to
he
refill.
reaches back and grabs some fire whiskey and like tops off the flask.
Thank you. Put it on my tab.
Why the long way?
Huh? It's the way to go. and they just seem to be ignoring you, kind of, and like screwing their flask on. Well, that's what she said to do. So.
Off we go then.
All right, so you guys head outside. When you open the door, you find yourself like being in Hightower. You've seen a couple of different areas of Hightower. It's very clear that this area is not as well developed as the rest of Hightower. The roads are not cobblestone; they are mud, and the buildings here are all wooden. Kind of shanty look. There's a couple that are maybe newer-ish, larger buildings that maybe are stores or things like that in this street. There's horses going by, and you can hear like the squishing through the mud of the horses. And some are pulling carts or things that are leaving tracks through the mud. And Soros, you know that like turning left would take you in the direction of the northern end of the quarter, where the gondola ride is over to the monastery. Jury very purposely turns right. And kind of leads you that way. And there's interesting, and like this, there's a moment where like you're walking along the street, you take a left, and you're walking along this street, and the people here are like wearing relatively ragged clothing. There's a couple people that very much seem to be kind of like carrying themselves, like it's hard to walk. There's a few that you hear kind of like coughing from a few in the distance, and but then you kind of cross a couple blocks, and suddenly like you take a step, and like the mud is turning into cobble. You're now getting onto a cobblestone street, and it looks fairly recently laid. There's kind of like the tracks coming from the mud area, but this cobblestone street looks recently laid. And then you walk around another block, and there's a new building under construction. And like signs of like handiwork and craft work. And Soros, from your knowledge, you realize that you're kind of towards the bridge that connects Boreal Quarter to the rest of Hightower. And there's brand new, beautiful buildings here made of stone, solid construction.
They're gentrifying the neighborhood.
And they might be gentrifying the neighborhood. And you also notice in this area, you haven't seen them before, but you notice in this area the guards of Hightower are in force in this part of town. And you hadn't seen them in any other part of the Boreal Quarter up until this point. Drury then takes a left and starts to head, and you're kind of walking down this thoroughfare where there's relatively, for what you've seen in the rest of the Boreal Quarter, opulent buildings lining this thoroughfare. And then you kind of get to a point where you take a right, and then 2 more blocks, mud streets again. You turn left, mud. The streets are becoming derelict. The streets are becoming whatever. And you finally get towards the central square, which is all the roads kind of lead there before they branch off to the different parts of the Boreal Quarter. And there's the first thing you notice when you get to the central square is there's a lot of people around. So if everybody will make a perception check.
Perception.
I feel like Jury's like doing a little dance as they lead you around too.
Should a
15.
Nancy make
15.
a perception? Oh, I'm not
No.
perceptive at all.
Oh, jeez, Abel.
I'm just having like, yeah, it's real bad. I got a 3. I guess a 6 total.
Oh,
You were
wow.
So how am I
distracted.
guess? I'm guessing it's having to fly because of the mud.
Yeah.
I feel like he's like sitting on my shoulder or something.
Mine
Oh, we
was
did
not.
not introduce Mar to the newest member of the Ticket Takers.
Oh, it's true.
Another one.
It's another
And like you
spider,
see,
Mar.
down my from my shoulder down my arm, I hold my hand out, and a little amethyst spider. It's like sitting in the palm of my hand. This is Anansi. He is my homunculus servant that I created. He's going to be our newest member.
Oh, look at him. Oh, he's so cute.
He's so
He is
cute.
adorable.
But just like Jury like picks him up and is like, "See, isn't he adorable?"
I love spiders.
I believe he will come in as quite useful.
Anansi, like, you see him like building this little web between his claws, and he releases them, and they fly up into this little parachute. And then Anansi lifts out of Jury's hand and flies over in your direction, Mar, as like kind of circles around your
I
head.
sidestep him. No.
Yeah, I'll tell him telepathically, like she does not like to be touched.
Oh,
Let's
he flies
give
back
her
over,
space for now.
lands on Jury's head, and just kind of nestles there in the top of the crown of Jury's head.
I'll tell him like she'll learn to love you. Don't worry.
To meet you.
Yeah, but I was
Spider.
Okay, so
I was totally distracted with
yeah,
Anansi. You
Anansi
know,
was
us getting to
distracting
know
you.
each other.
So
So
I rolled like a 6.
6. So Kaimana 15. What'd you get, Soros?
I rolled 23.
Oh, 23. Sorry.
15.
You're the 15. Marlo, perception.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
the same
hold on.
thing.
19. Okay, good. So Kaimana immediately, like, all of these people or whatever, but you notice that, like, it's not like a throng of citizens, like, just walking around. They all seem to be standing, like, in a line. Like, there's a group that's standing in a line here. There's a group standing in the line across the way. There's several, and they seem to be, like, they're lining up and then they're moving. They're interacting with somebody at like a stall of some kind, and then that person's moving on, and then the next person's coming in. And you realize that like several of them look very rough, even from a distance. You can see they're kind of like bent over. There's a few of them where you can see like on their skin boils like rising up on their forearms. There's a couple where like it's almost so it seems like their skin is kind of sloughing off the side of their face. There's this coughing, and there's a drone of flies that seem to be flying around some of them. You are seeing some of the sick and injured, and close enough you realize that the stall nearest to you, they're all walking up to somebody who's wearing a purple robe, and this person is administering some kind of concoction to them, or is like taking pieces of the swabs of their skin or things like that. These purple robed figures are working with them in some way.
The sick are here. I'm a little concerned. Tell me this, yeah.
Yeah.
With a 23, there's a couple Violet Cloister people who are kind of milling around in the center of or Violet Conclave. There's this milling around in the center of the square, and there's one particular individual standing in the center of the square that they are coming up and speaking to, and then walking away. And from a distance, it's hard to tell who it is, but there's one member that they keep kind of walking up to and talking to.
I'll point
Oh,
that
maybe it's what's his face. I know his name. Hold on, everybody. Hold on.
Mars flipping in her notes.
Oh, I got it. Don't even worry about it, gang. I'm
Is
gonna
it
get his
Volmir?
You're
name.
doing so great, honestly.
Volmir?
Oh, have I gone too far?
Nihilus?
No, that's when Ace joined. Hold on, so it's further back.
Okay, further than that.
Well, we're gonna do it. No.
Araman?
Are you
No.
thinking
The guy we met at
Volmir? It's Volmir. Yeah. that's it.
Volmir. Yeah.
God, if Ronnie, if you had said that before me, I would have lost my mind.
You got it. Just...
Ronnie's like
you have this.
color coded his notes.
Yeah,
So-
I do.
God.
Anyone who's anyone's proper name or like a group name is in
Mm.
yellow. Any like locations are in orange, and any items are in purple. So
so it's hard to tell from the distance, but you can do that. Now, like, it's the main thoroughfare going to the square is not like blocked by like hordes of sick people. They're kind of off to the edges, and there's this very clearly there's guards too that are kind of creating like a block to them and organizing them and keeping them from them. All of the guard members are wearing gloves. A couple of them have like tied like bandanas around their mouths and their faces, but not all of them are wearing like personal protective equipment. But they're there. So what do you guys want to do?
I put up a bandana around
Okay.
my rat face.
Yeah, I put my scarf up.
yeah.
And I will turn to the group and say, if that is Volmir, we probably shouldn't talk to him, just because he'll probably ask us how the hell we got in here. And that's probably not a question we want to answer.
You do know you have to pass through the square to get to the part that you need to go to, Saurus, but yeah.
We can skirt our way. I mean, it's not like we're recognizable. The only anthropomorphic rat in the entire country.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we stealth?
Marlowe's hat and overcoat.
I'm
Kaimana.
very still. I don't know what we're
I'll say, Saurus, I will say that the Rakshasa did mention that you were not the only one.
I assumed the only anthropomorphic being, not the only anthropomorphic rat.
That's true, yeah.
Jury will be like, well, do you need a distraction?
No, you might want to walk separate from us so that if we are seen, you're not associated.
Are there beasts of
Preserve your
burden?
anonymity.
Are there beasts of burden around here, Josh?
Not in this area. Like, they seem to have, like, cleared out most of the square for the purposes of this. So there's not a lot of... Like, a lot of the traffic that you're seeing is kind of coming up to the square and then turning around and heading back. And, like, there's, like, people carrying boxes through the square to load onto carts. Like, they seem to have shut down the square for the purposes of whatever they're doing.
Okay, I will wild shape into a mastiff.
Okay. So you guys have a large dog next to you now.
Look, if worst comes to worst and anyone asks why we're here, how we got here, I can just say we're on order business, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Exactly, and this is the order's mascot.
And they let us in because we are working with the order.
Yeah.
Right.
We can't divulge the means of the order.
Yeah.
The order has its ways.
That sounds
Honestly,
good.
I don't know the means of the order. So, let's go.
Sounds lovely.
And then I'll pull like one of my robes or whatever up over my face.
Oh, the jury doesn't know what the order is. I don't have time
Jury
to
is
explain.
just no. Jury doesn't want you to explain. They're just like, sounds great, and they're gonna go ahead. They're gonna go ahead of you.
And I look at Jordan and say, "They're the 6th Ranger."
Green Ranger.
That means nothing to you, I'm
No.
sure. It's fine. It also means nothing to me.
You all are cryptic, but also kind of weird, so that makes sense to me.
Yeah, and
You
actually,
know, someday we'll talk.
from your origins, Jury, you would have no idea who that.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what to say. But
Alright.
I'm gonna go off and play a little.
Let's
tune.
try and stealth through the intersection as best we can.
Stealth checks from everybody.
They didn't
it's not
ask
so
for
much about-
distraction.
It's not so
still
much
wanna know.
hiding in the shadows as just
Blending into the crowd.
Yeah,
right?
blending
into the
in.
crowd.
Yeah,
It's like a Assassin's Creed moment.
yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you say,
You know, if
Jerry?
there's some people.
I think Jury's still gonna give you a distraction, even though you didn't ask for one. So I'm gonna play a little tune and walk
Oh.
through separately.
Can I? Do you want help with that?
As a master,
Where's
Yeah.
perception?
Sure.
Jesus Christ.
Do a little dance.
Okay.
No, he's howling along with the song. Just-
So
Oh, we got a
stealth 24.
19.
19.
oh God, watch me.
Able because
Don't fuck
Kaimana's
it up.
going off with Jury, so it's just you three.
I don't have good
Do
stuff.
you want me to do a performance check for distracting?
Yeah. With a
All
advantage
able.
because
18.
Oh,
18.
nice.
Alright, first roll. Oh god.
It's usually those
Fighter
dex
help.
checks that get me.
All right.
Well, it's a 25, so.
25. Okay. So you, Jury, and Kaimana kind of step off in their direction, and the three of you kind of start skirting the crowd. There's a moment where, as you three are crossing by, you start to hear what is the distraction that you're providing for them, Jury.
I'm gonna do a little song for the sick people.
Okay. So you're playing a
So-
song for this.
And
Song for the sick.
Song for the sick, and I'm telling Kaimana to do a little dance,
Okay.
little dog dance.
Interestingly enough, everybody who's there waiting gets an extra D10. If you look at the point. And so you're playing a little song for them, and they're
It's just like a
they're all
pill
around, and they're like,
to make
"That's so
it
nice." And there's
better.
a couple of the Violet Conclave members are like, excuse, did Club Ophidia send somebody to play for us?
I was just, passing through. Thought it might brighten the mood a little.
Oh, that's so pleasant. Immediately, the figure at the center of the crowd hears the song, so it starts kind of walking in your direction,
There you go, guys.
and he's like, "Hello. this is very quite pleasant. I would not play quite so close to the lines of sick people. You might want to come towards the center. They would all be able to hear you much better then, and you would be a little safer.
Sure, I'm just passing through, but thought it just for a moment.
Of course. I appreciate the sound. I thought that was Sully.
Was that Sully or Outlaw?
That was Outlaw.
So Jordan goes,
thinking
that's Kyle. Kyle, my dog, Kyle. Right, Kyle?
And Kamana, you recognize the fellow who's talking to Jury. He kind of reaches down and like scritches your ears a little bit.
Oh.
Good boy, Kyle.
We are working very hard to try to find a cure, so the music is pleasant. Thank you.
I'll have to try to come by another time.
Can
Yeah.
I make a perception check, Josh?
As a dog.
Because I have keen hearing and smell, so I have advantage on those to try to discern something from this individual.
Yeah, what would you like to discern?
I just kind of want to see if, like, and I know I'm using, like, this is a reach, and just let me know if, like, say no, but I want to know if what they're dosing the sick people with is what's causing the plague.
Okay, so you want to kind of get closer to the ones who are doing the work. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead and roll. Yep.
Oh, just run off in that direction.
Smell based to see if it's poison.
Yeah, basically.
Oh no, my dog Kyle. Whatever is he
Kyle,
doing?
stop. He's
Kyle is the
crazy.
funniest dog name I've ever
I
heard.
know.
Maybe you can like grab a vial.
I see Jury doing a Willy Wonka. Wait, stop.
Top.
Don't.
Come back.
22.
22. So you kind of start, like, you put your nose to the ground and you start sniffing, and like the first table you kind of come to, the conclave member there, what you see them do is like they're giving them something, and what you immediately smell is sugar water. You're like, oh, that's not. And then like you kind of go around to the next table where they're doing something different, and like you see that they're just basically pricking and taking blood samples from this group. The third one you come to, though, you smell something that smells acrid, something that smells poisonous.
Oh my god.
And you see that the guy, the conclave member here, he is reaching into some kind of pile, and he's got these like barbs. They kind of look like porcupine barbs. And each person who comes by, the people in his line look healthy. And he's clicking each one.
As I suspected.
I'll wait till he comes back and tells the group. I have a theory.
Yeah.
At that moment, oh, go ahead.
Kyle's
No,
cracked
he's
his
probably-
face wide open.
He's just like,
It's
oh,
like
Kyle.
Scooby Doo this shit.
You just hear him. "Arr."
Yep. The other two that you like make a circle around the hole. There's 5 of them. The other two, like, one of them seems to, you can smell, like, with your knowledge of chemicals, seems to be some kind of chemical that you like recognize as like having some kind of healing property. And then the last one, like each table's doing something different. And the last one is just taking like skin samples from those who have like those boils on them. They're kind of like taking samples of the fluid coming from the boils and things. But it's just that one where you got like this ping on something like poisonous or acrid or whatever.
Can I try to remember what the priests look like at that time?
Well, yeah. So he's kind of very just plain human figure, shaved sides of his head, just kind of like very short hair on top, wearing just a simple violet robe, just like the other kind of conclave members.
Can I try to memorize his set as a mastiff?
Yep. As a mastiff, you'd have the ability to do that. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. At that moment, all of you, the ones sneaking around, you hear from the kind of the opposite side, you hear a couple people going, "Nobody wants you here. Go away."
What do we see?
Us?
What's happening?
Not to us, right?
Yeah, well, you guys are kind of skirting around the left-hand side. This is on the opposite corner from you. You look across, and this is you see this figure standing there. Mar and Jury, roll just a history check on seeing this person. It is very tall, probably 7 feet tall, burly, muscular figure wearing this kind of black robe, with sleeveless black robe, a hood that comes up and kind of peeks down and covers most of the face. Greenish gray skin with like these spiraling black tattoos down his arm and these like cuffs, kind of an ornate necklace around the neck and kind of a sash around the waist. And he's just kind of standing there. Mar?
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20? Jury?
Yeah, 13.
13. So first, Marlo, you see an orc, which is incredibly rare. Orcs have almost all but died out because they were hunted after the subversion. And based on what you see with what he's wearing, this is a barrow moor. A barrow-like grave, and then more MAOR. Barrow moors are like, they're known as grave tenders. They used to be responsible for the proper burial of the dead to ensure that none would like come back as undead. But they were gifted with their powers by the god who rebelled. And so after the subversion, a lot of people stopped trusting them and kind of hunted them down and tried to drive them out. So they're very, very, very rare.
Jury's like, that's an orc.
And he, like, there's people yelling at him and trying to get him to go away, but he's just kind of standing there waiting. For some, like, he's probably waiting to talk to Volmir, but he's just there.
Interesting. Oh, hi, train.
Yeah, I'll ask Volmir if he knows who that guy is.
Oh, Volmir kind of looks over. Yes, I believe his name is Omari. He's come by the last 3 days, talking about some kind of disturbance he feels in the weave. I don't know. I feel like the orcs have all gone crazy.
Jury kind of like narrows their eyes. I mean, but I can go talk to him if you'd like.
Oh, well, I'm sure he's come to berate me again, so it'd be nice if somebody else handled it.
Jury's gonna go over there.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so you approach, and he's just kind of standing there, like, gruffly, like, unbothered by people. Like, somebody even, like, throws some rotten fruit in his direction, and he's just kind of standing there.
Hello, are you Omari?
I am.
I'm Juridan. Do a little bow curtsy.
Ah, it's good to meet you, Jordan.
What brings you here?
Well, there's a stench of death in the Boreal Quarter, and something's afoot.
Yes. Perhaps. Do you need help with anything?
Well, I've been trying to get these Violet Conclave bastards to let me see the dead, but they're housing them somewhere out of sight, and I'd really like to make sure that they are being properly blessed. Diseases like these have a tendency to bring about change after death.
You think undead?
It's always a possibility if the body hasn't been blessed properly.
Well, if they won't talk to you, maybe we should meet later.
Absolutely. I'm not quite sure where they're keeping the bodies, so that might be worth finding out if you want to help.
All right, and I'll give him like a meeting place
Okay.
that would be like appropriate
Right.
to meet later today, probably.
Come on, roll another perception check for me, please, using your keen senses. Oh, did we lose something?
No, there.
We're still
I don't think
against
so.
all
Yeah.
odds.
I don't know what happened. My whole screen just like changed. Hold on.
You like went mute for me for a little bit, but
Like everybody's screen like shifted for some reason.
Ooh, weird.
22 again.
22 again. Sweet.
The
So
sound is powerful.
as you're making your circle around Kaimana, you get back to that similar one that you were trying to keep a sight of before, and you notice like when you get around to that booth, the smell's gone. And you can kind of pick up on the fact that like it's moving in a direction away from the square, and there's another person there, Violet Cloister person there, and they are not using any kind of like porcupine quills on people. They are administering potions that you know are like calming potions and healing potions.
I can see Jury.
Yeah.
I will bark
Oh,
and then head off in that direction, trying to figure out.
Okay. You're gonna follow that
Oh.
path. Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, Kyle, something's wrong with him. Sorry to leave. I gotta go out. Kyle, come back. I'll run after Kyle.
Well, if you find something, come get to me.
Thank you.
All right.
Go off.
And so, Kaimana, you kind of go down following your nose down the path, and you kind of go down this road, and then you turn around a corner, and you see in front of you like a purple robed figure, kind of walking hurriedly away from the square. And then they turn a corner. You keep running around that way. When you turn the corner, it's like an alleyway, and you see like they pause for a moment, and the purple cloak fades away, and it's a black cloak. And then they keep walking forward, kind of in a northeasterly direction.
I'm going to try to be really crafty about how I'm following.
Okay, go ahead and roll a stealth check for me, please.
Oh, I'm gonna lose you, Kaimana.
Big money, no whammies.
So. Mm, 15.
15. Okay. All right. So you following at a distance enough that you can keep an eye on them but be safe, and they kind of make a turn, they make another turn, and then there's a moment where like you see like a few Violet Cloister people or Violet Conclave members, and they're like walking this direction, and they go into this very large building off to the right. This person completely goes the opposite direction. And you follow them around another bend, another road, and then you find yourself facing a fenced-in, kind of looks like an enclave. Like there's like you can see the roofs of buildings over the fence, but there's a large gate in the center, and this person like walks up to it. They place their hand against the lock. You hear a click, and then the gate swings open, and then it closes behind them, and then they walk in. At this distance, you can smell that like poisonous smell is radiating out of this building, or is out of
Okay.
this enclave.
Oh, shit.
All right, mission accomplished. I'm gonna leave now.
I feel like I'm walking around going, Kyle? Kyle? Where are you?
And
Yeah.
you do notice, Kaimana, at like as you're kind of walking back, at the big building where the Violet Conclave is, there's a couple people standing outside, and they're like holding signs and holding like kind of like almost like protest symbols that basically just says "Give us their bodies." And so there's some people standing outside that Violet Conclave thing that are protesting.
Okay, yeah, I'll try to find my way. I'll try to find my way back to Jury. And
Okay. You retrace your steps and you get back to the car. All right, the three of you, what were you all doing in the square as you made your way past?
Is getting to the other side of it and out of the square,
Okay.
like so we can go to the monastery.
All right, so you made your way back around, and then you're kind of there waiting, and like a few moments pass, and then finally like Jury shows up, and it's like,
I don't really know where Kaimana went. I think he became a dog, maybe, and ran away. Like, maybe for real. It was very weird.
It won't be for real, but he may have seen something shiny.
Oh, God. Maybe he should have been a cat.
Should we look for him? I don't know if we should risk looking for him and running.
I think we should head to the monastery because he knows that's where we're going. And if he can't find
Isn't that
us,
where it is?
he'll find out. He's smart.
Can I use my keen senses to pick up their trail and just follow where they're going?
yeah, and I think as fast as you're probably moving, like, you'll catch up with them pretty quickly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you guys start making your ways with Source's lead towards the monastery, and then, like, 3 or 4 blocks down, you hear a woofing sound behind you, and this giant mastiff is bounding in your direction, and Jury recognizes immediately.
It's Kyle. I mean, Kaimana. Hey, buddy. What happened on your little excursion?
Oh.
What the hell does that mean? Shift back.
Source
here.
can understand what you're saying.
Oh my God, send me.
Yeah, no, I'm speaking deep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll,
Oh yeah.
I will tell Soros like all of what happened like real quick.
I relay that to the group.
If we can get a sample of that.
My thoughts exactly.
If we can get a sample of that, I'm good with alchemy. Kaimana, you're also pretty decent with herbalism stuff. We can probably find out exactly what it is, or at least close enough. And if we can pull what's supposed to be the regular dose, put them side by side, give it to... I don't know how much I trust Volmir, but hopefully if we can all be in the same room with Volmir and show it to him...
So there was one table that seemed to be poisoning people, and one table that seemed to be giving them some type of medicinal.
Two of the tables seem to be gathering like evidence, like taking
blood
samples,
samples,
and then one was purely placebo apparently. But the other 2 tables, like after the guy left, who was picking them with the barbs. After he left, the other 2 tables were administering some kind of potions or medicinal things.
So it seems not the entire group is in on this, that there's a certain subgroup. And judging from the smell of the poison, that's where they're keeping the bodies, which is where we should investigate.
So the
right,
table
the bodies would prove
yes, exactly
something was going on.
That is
and we know that, I mean, this makes sense because we already knew that it was magical in nature. This just confirms what Volmir was telling us.
And I'll say that Omari would be willing to help us probably if we needed a little backup.
I'm wondering if perhaps they are poisoning the population.
Yes, Kaimana. Kaimana says we should wait until night to go back to the place.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
I don't know.
I
don't know if I'm going to be like conspiracy theory here, but I'm going to put my hat on and say I am. Who else do we know that really likes doing experiments on people? Magical in nature, maybe. I'm not trying to come to a crazy conclusion here, but he was in the area on business, so.
That is true. I wonder if all this new construction has something to do with it. Maybe they want to clear out the Boreal Quarter so they can build some of these new buildings. They're poisoning their population, and I don't know if a priori's they've moved into real estate. I don't know, but
that or
it could be multiple groups working for different means, but the same result, which is clearing out the Boreal Quarter.
And it's not going to be the Violet Cloister. Even if it is people within it, they're not going to have it traced back to them. There's no way.
I agree. Yes, they wouldn't leave themselves that live.
There's the 5 leaders of the Town of Hightower. If one of them were wanting to do a power grab, aligning themselves either knowingly or unknowingly with someone else, or just simply taking advantage of the situation.
Well, you do know that Toby was specifically watching one of them because they were suspected as a member of a priori. Not Lady Kellis, the one that he was watching another one.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if Iris's business pertains to this today.
She said it did not have to do with the infected.
I would
But it might
also,
have to do
I'm
with
not
the
trying to say
expansion.
I don't trust Iris, but if I was Iris, I would not necessarily trust people I had just met with what my actual business was, to be honest. And that's not, Jury, that is not me knocking her, that is me saying she is a very smart person, and I would
That's
not trust
fine.
us either.
That's true.
I don't think I fully trust someone part of a strange order I don't quite understand, but that's fine.
That, you know what? That's fair.
We've only
Hey,
just met.
you know what's fun though? I leaned in really close. It's a werewolf order, and then I just kind of like,
Wait, are you all werewolves? Every one of you?
No, absolutely not.
Alright, wait,
Not-
so
not-
only some of you are werewolves?
no,
How does this order work?
no, in the order we all are. In the order, yes.
Okay.
Not these
So
people.
it's like a registry, is what you're saying.
It's
Like a club.
I wish it was as fun as what you're describing it as, but kind of,
Sorry.
yes. It's a,
Alright, well, we'll have to discuss that over copious amounts of alcohol. Let's continue on.
I suggest we get to the monastery, send word to Amari, contact them somehow, and plan a late night raid on this facility.
Yes.
yeah, and see what
And
your
I can see my brothers.
monastery knows.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you do have the ability to contact Amari if you need to, Jury.
Sure.
Because you have met them, so you...
Yeah, I can sense it
Yep.
then.
All right, so you continue your path to the monastery, and sort of you get to the kind of, there's a monastery enclave on the very northern end tip of it that guards the gondola. They let you through with your thing, and so with you all kind of bordering none of you have ridden a gondola before. This very small car attached to a rope that is basically just like a large wooden platform with sides that's going over the raging river below you, thousands of feet. On this single
Gaping chasm.
Yeah.
It's nothing to be worried about.
It's nothing to worry
Do we all fit in it, or do we have to take two?
No, it would fit all of you. It's probably
Okay.
built for 8 or 9 people, maybe 10. And so it's going across. And so with you all leaving this mystery of the Boreal Quarter and going on to the Monastery of the Four Winds, we'll go ahead and stop there and pick up next time.
Oh, yeah, it is time.
Yeah. Because if we went to the monastery, it'd probably take us well after 10, so yeah.
Yeah. Plot points.
Well, this
and
was
stuff.
fun, you guys.
All right.
Yeah, it is fun.
But we'll pick up there next time. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next Wednesday. Or whatever Wednesday. On a Wednesday. All
Is it
right.
Wednesdays now?
It's Wednesdays now. I know.
Well, it's
I don't
funny
read
because
messages, guys.
our stream is also on Wednesday for my other games. So Devin was like, "You were in 2 places on Wednesday," and I was
That's
like,
true.
"One of them's recorded. It's not my evil twin."
Yeah.
That's funny.
Great.
Evil twin. All right, guys, this was fun.
All right.
All right.
See y'all later.